everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our 5th and 6th grade concert. This is a really special concert for us. We have the 5th graders who, if you remember the last time we were here, were having their very first concert. They have come so far this year, and we are thrilled to share all that they've learned and the giant leap they've taken as musicians since we last met in this beautiful auditorium. And we also have our 6th grade band down here. So excited to have them here tonight. They get a little reflection back to where they began and how far they've come in 2 years. And our 5th graders get a chance to see how much they will be learning in the year ahead. So thank you for joining us for our collaboration concert this evening. We're delighted that you're here. And we are going to begin with fanfare on Ode to Joy.
This next piece is called Midnight Sky, and as we started working on this, I asked the students, and I'll ask you the same question. Raise your hand if you are a busy person. That's what I thought. And basically all of them raised their hand as well, and I really feel like this piece kind of challenges us to just slow down for a second. And we really enjoyed kind of talking about that. I'll read you what the composer says about this piece. Midnight Sky is a beautiful moment of musical solitude in which listeners close their eyes and imagine a quiet moment under the stars, uninterrupted by the hustle and bustle of everyday life. We often forget to embrace those moments of peace and tranquility. This work seeks to bring that calmness back into our lives.
wrote a few of the pieces you'll hear tonight, and the story he tells about tadpoles is this. He says, a few years back, I wrote a young band work entitled Frogs, and you're going to hear the sixth graders play Frogs later. That was quirky, humorous, and fun. To this day, I would still put it in my personal top 5 favorite things I've ever written. A few days ago, while working on some music, I noticed that single eighth notes with their round heads, long stems, and single tail looked kind of like tadpoles. This made me flash back to frogs, and I thought, well, tadpoles would be before frogs, so they would have to learn to jump, and boom. The idea hit me, and in less than 24 hours, I wrote the piece that is before you. Tadpoles is intended to introduce young players to the idea of leaping. The piece begins with the young amphibians trying out their new legs as they leap for the first time. The piece comes to a joyous celebration of growth as the tadpoles work themselves into a froggy finale. I hope you enjoy this work. Peace, love, and music. Fifth grade parents, we'd like to draw your attention to the back of the program about instruments. We really want to reiterate to you that you want to keep your instruments over the summer because you'll lose the equity that you've put into that instrument. So you can read the back of the program for more details. And we'll be sending an email home with a little bit more on Monday. But just wanted to reiterate that fact for you guys. Next up for the fifth graders is some class songs. As you know, we do meet in separate classes, so I teach the flutes and percussion, Mrs. Hayes teaches the clarinets and saxophones, and Mr. Reed teaches the brass. And so we do like to feature our classes, and Mrs. Hayes, our classes and I have teamed up for Harry Potter. So we hope you really enjoy Harry Potter.
My name is Ben Reed, and like Miss Allman mentioned, I have the pleasure of working with the brass students that you see on stage every day, and it's been so fun to watch them grow this year and take on these new instruments. So for our class song tonight, we wanted to share with you something that we thought would be big and fun and powerful, so we hope you enjoy the opening theme from Star Wars.
Before we play our next song, we have a number of students who have taken on the challenge of learning all of the challenge songs called the medal songs in their Standard of Excellence book. These are songs that they've learned to play individually, have played for a teacher, and gotten the entire book completed to receive the medal that is featured on the front of their book. If we have any students in this group who received their medal and are wearing it tonight, please stand and be recognized for your extra work and achievement. We have Jack back in the trumpet section and Parker over in the saxophones, in case you couldn't see them. So, thank you very much. We hope you enjoy Folk Suite.
Before we start the second half of our program, you'll notice that we have some students on stage wearing their track uniform because we have some students that have done some double duty tonight. They ran the track meet and then came right here, which I think is really awesome. And in fact, I would like to recognize them. And if any students on stage participate in any Saline athletics as well as band, will you guys just stand up and let's recognize you? Yes, let's go. We're so grateful that they were able to do all of those activities. We are really lucky here in Saline to have an amazing Music Booster organization. You saw them when you're on your way in, and I'm going to invite Miss Donovan to the stage. Here she is right here. And she's going to talk to you about some things that the boosters are doing to support some of these students. But before I introduce her, will you just join me in giving a big round of applause to the boosters for all that they do to support music here in Saline.
Music Boosters here at Saline. What a great concert so far tonight. You guys are all amazing. We have some really talented musicians up on this stage. The Music Boosters are proud supporters of the music program here at Saline Schools. And one of the ways that we're able to support the music program is by offering scholarship opportunities for our students who are able to attend fine arts camps over the summer. And tonight, I have the privilege of being able to award those scholarships to the people who have been selected. So I'm going to say your name, and if you can come up and accept your certificate, and then stand right here until all the names have been called, okay? So the first one is going to be Thomas Orcutt. Caroline Combs. Jackson Matthews. London Kubian Gust. And David Enselman.
Well, welcome to the 6th grade portion of the program. We're going to start this portion of the program with a piece called Night Fury. We hope you enjoy it. Brian Balmages says this about his piece. I have a little secret that I'll no longer keep, explaining lots of little sounds when everyone's asleep. Is that wind I hear outside or knocking at the door? They just may be my fuzzy friends making noise between each snore. They start off very quietly when all the lights go out. They check to make sure no one's watching, then start to dance about. Pretty soon they're going crazy, a midnight celebration. I'm glad they're having so much fun, but where's my invitation? As soon as dawn approaches, they start to settle down. Putting all their toys away, they cease to make a sound. And then we wake up wondering, was it creaking or TV static? Others may wonder, but now you know, it's just the creatures in the attic. We really love telling stories with our music, and you can see that with some of these pieces, and there's a lot of backstory to some of them. And this one really stretched us in a different way. And I really need to explain to you where the composer's coming from with this one. So here's what Randall Sandridge says. The Lake of Sorrows. Once there was a goddess who roamed the forests that border the Darklands. One day a mortal man wandered into her domain, and she fell in love with him on sight. For a time they lived happily. As the years passed, however, she remained beautiful and young, but he aged, as all mortals do. Upon his death, the goddess was so overcome with grief that her tears formed a lake. To this day, all who foolishly wander too close to the Lake of Sorrows are drawn into its dark waters, but they do not die. They stand on the lakebed, looking upwards and weeping as the eternal storms thunder and roil overhead. We hope you enjoy Lake of Sorrows.
love for going on cruises. My mother, whose adventurous and curious, playful spirit I have inherited, will sometimes bring me back a souvenir from their excursions. After one such trip to the Caribbean, she brought me a frog euro. "Oh," she said, handing it over with a smile, "I thought you might like it. Maybe it will give you an idea." It did. The frog euro sat on my shelf for a couple of years. I would pull it down occasionally, mostly to annoy my pets, and use the attached stick to make the wonderful croaking sound that the instrument produces. One rainy day, sitting in my office, I picked up the frog and was playing with it when I thought, would it be funny if you played this, had a trill going, and then snapped the slapstick so it sounded like a frog caught a fly? Boom. I decided to create the work. I wanted to walk the line very carefully between novelty and concert work, hoping to err on the side of concert work. I have always maintained that humor is a valid human emotion that is worthy of being expressed in the arts. Funny does not equal unartistic. Great support that these kids come up on the stage and make all this great music. So So we have some thank yous to give really quickly. First, we'd like to really thank our administrators in both the middle school and Heritage. They help us to switch schedules. We saw Mrs. DeGrand here tonight. They support us in so many different ways. Along with our admins are our teachers in 6th grade. They're juggling lots this week with NWEA testing and some experiences this week, and so our teachers support us. And you'll also see the support of our paraprofessionals up here on the stage, helping all of the kiddos who need that support. Can we give a round of applause to those that As you already heard, our boosters are an amazing organization. We hope that you stop at their table, and we hope that you stop at the Kona Shave Ice truck that also helps to benefit the boosters, so you can buy yourself a shave ice and feel really good about all that you've done to do to help music today. So we thank the music boosters for all of their support. You may have noticed a very adult-looking 6th grader back in the percussion section. We are so lucky to have the support of Kyle Zill. He comes and works as our percussionist, helps us out. When we get our 6th graders, our bands are based upon homeroom classrooms. And so in one 6th grade band, we have 11 percussionists, and then this one we only have 6. And one of them couldn't be here tonight, so Mr. Zill filled in for them because they're tiny but they're tough. Can we give a round of applause to Mr. Zill? We also have the amazing support of Mr. Culver, who comes in and helps us whenever we do anything crazy. How many of you heard the lightning and thunder in Lake of Sorrows? Did you hear the lightning and thunder? Oh, good. He came in and did that, and he's going to cue up this next thing for us. So, Mr. Culver, thank you for always helping us with our special. And of course, we wouldn't look this good without Hornet Light and Sound. I walk up to the mic, it turns on magically. The shell, look at how beautiful it is. They set that all up for us. Can we please thank Rebecca Brave and her crew with Hornet Light and Sound? Kids, and one is a dancer, so that's all you need to know. So thank you for making time for music in your homes. Can we give, kids, can we give your parents a round of applause? We like to always end our concert. This is our 5th and 6th graders' last concert, and for our 6th graders, some of them will move on to other adventures, many of them will keep making music with us. And so we like to end with African Festival because it's a song of unity and it's a song of essentially people bonding together to make things, to make the world a better place. We took some time to talk about textiles and the importance of textiles in different cultures, and then we took some time to make some textiles of our own. And what we love about ending a concert like this is that we end united in song with our instruments. We end united in song with our instruments, and we get to see all of the different voices that make up our band, because each one of these textiles was created to represent them. And what I love about music so much is that it can be people of all different backgrounds, cultures, you name it, and we can unite in song, and that is just the joy of making music in a community. So we hope you enjoy African Festival. for coming tonight.